Good evening. Let us be very quiet inside. Words are auxiliaries. Presence heals. If you have ever been with me in a moment of need, you know my conversation is usually limited to, I will help you. Why? Because the presence does the work, not syllables striking the air. Words sometimes are an interference. We use them now as stepping stones, then we set them down. Do you see? There is a question that must be faced without drama and without curiosity of the wrong sort. Why did only about 500 witness the risen Christ? Scripture records, after that he was seen of above 500 brethren at once. 1 Corinthians 15. 500, why not 5,000? Why not every soul in Jerusalem? The answer is not divine favoritism. God is no respecter of persons. The answer is readiness. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Seeing follows purity. Witnessing follows capacity. You behold what you are prepared to behold. We are dealing with a law, not a superstition, not a lottery. You do not tune a radio by pleading with the music. You tune, so it is with the invisible. The resurrection was not a trick of matter. It was the unveiling of what is, where consciousness had been trained to expect God, to recognize God appearing as individual being. There the risen one was seen and known. Where thought clung to the arm of flesh, two powers, life and death wrestling there, the eye remained veiled. The event was universal. The witnessing was particular. Do you follow that? Let us anchor this where it cannot be shaken. What determines what we witness of the invisible is consciousness. Not event, not place, not calendar. I and the Father are one as a present identity, not a holiday remembrance. This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased, is not a compliment to one man 2,000 years ago. It is a statement of the nature of being wherever God is recognized as AS and realized as IS. God, the invisible, appearing as the visible Son, that is the meaning of AS. And is ever-present isness means we are not trying to make truth true. We are consenting to what already is. Life is, love is, harmony is, omnipresence is. You are not trying to make 2 and 2 become 4. You are realizing it is 4. But why, you ask, do so many fail to see? Here is the quiet diagnosis we will unfold in its time. An impersonal hypnotic suggestion. A universal belief in two powers operates as a veil that isn't. It is the snake in the rope trick, the non-existent white poodle crossing the path of thought. We take it personally, we fear it, and we strengthen it. Our work will be to depersonalize it, to say within ourselves, this is merely the arm of flesh, nothingness. And as we unsee the appearance, we behold the Christ where the mask seemed. Now, I will promise you this much, and I will stand by it in consciousness. Readiness can be cultivated. Discipline is not drudgery when God is the subject. By your life experience, by the fruitage, you will know whether these words have rooted. If harmony increases, if problems begin to resolve without strain, if your neighbors find rest simply by sitting in your kitchen and saying nothing at all, that is fruitage. If not, then let us be honest and begin again, not with self-condemnation, but with practice. I remember a little meeting in a seaside cottage. There were 12. The atmosphere became still, and a brightness not of candle or sun moved through the room. 4 saw the light. All felt peace. The presence was one. The witnessing varied. No one was left out by God. Some were simply already tuned. The others were not denied. They were being made ready. So we will walk this road quietly, step by step. We will build the framework, God appearing as you, the ever-present reality. We will expose the impersonal veil. We will measure by fruitage. We will train the listening ear until words are no longer needed and spirit declares itself. Do you see? Then let us begin, not with strain, but with consent. Father, open thou mine eyes, that I may behold wondrous things out of thy law. Witness is not the eye reporting shapes to the brain. Witness is the heart recognizing. Presence. You may see a form and miss the life. You may close the eyes and feel a nearness that illumines the room. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Seeing in this law is not optics. It is consent to recognize the invisible as present. Do you see? We are not trying to bring God to the moment. We are acknowledging God as the moment. God appearing as individual being. That is witness. When the voice from the cloud declared, "This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased," it was not a publicity notice to the multitude. It was identity sight granted to consciousness that could bear it. The word came to the inner ear before it could be trusted to the outer air. Even so now, the recognition, "This is my beloved Son," is not a sentence we recite at each other. It is a seeing within, an awareness that God, the invisible, is appearing as this very individual. Then the fear drops, the grasping stops, and what we call healing, peace, right action begins to show itself. By your life experience, by the fruitage, you will know whether the recognition is real or merely rehearsed. Readiness is not the fever of effortful believing. Readiness is alignment, quiet, living in the truth, refusing two powers, refusing to fight appearances, resting in IS. It shows itself not by noise but by results. By their fruits ye shall know them. If under pressure you find yourself quickly remembering that God is the life of this one, God is the mind of this one, God is the substance and law of this one, and harmony follows, then you are in readiness. If you must whip yourself into fervor and little comes of it, be honest, be gentle, and deepen your alignment. This is not a lazy man's work, but it is simple. There is no withholding in God. God is not sometimes near and sometimes far. God is manifest as individual being. The invisible is never absent. Therefore, the Christ was not now present, now gone in those resurrection days. The capacity to behold varied among hearers. The presence did not. As the sun stands in its place while clouds pass over the valley and clear the hilltop, so the Christ stands, and the fluctuation is not in the light but in the seeing. Do you follow that? The law is exact. The event is constant. Perception fluctuates. Circumstance, place, calendar. None of these decide your portion. Capacity does. And capacity grows by living in the recognition of AS and resting in the realization of IS until the inner ear hears, "This is my beloved Son," and the eye beholds what the heart has already known. Then witnessing is natural and verifiable and quiet. Now we take up the first of the words that carry us from theory into reality. As God the invisible appears as Son the visible. Not God and man. Not God somewhere and a person here. God as individual being. This is not poetry. It is identity. He that hath seen me hath seen the Father, and I and the Father are one, are not personal boasts of a single holy man. They are the disclosure of how being is constituted wherever God is recognized. God is manifest as individual being. Do you see? The moment that is more than a sentence. It is a shift of sight. The Christ, then, is not a visitor to a personality. The Christ is the essence of individual being, your being, my being, the being of the one on the corner with a paper cup, the one at the head table with many letters after the name. "This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased," is the divine word to identity, whenever and wherever the ear can bear it. In Him we live and move and have our being. The Son is the appearing of the invisible. God the invisible appears as the visible Son. It dissolves the dream of separation, and with it the fear born of trueness. Reframe the resurrection with this: it was not an exception crafted for one life, it was the unveiling of what is eternally true of life. I am the resurrection and the life, not an event on a calendar, an identity realized. Death could not imprison because life is indivisible. When consciousness was prepared to see God as the very identity of the one before them, resurrection was beheld. When consciousness clung to the arm of flesh, two powers, life and death veiling remained. The event was constant, the beholding varied. Apply this now, quietly, where you live. Behold your neighbor as God appearing as. Behold the stranger as God appearing as. Behold yourself as God appearing as. When judgment rises, history, preference, irritation, drop it. Look back of the eye and let the word form without noise. This is my beloved Son. You are not excusing human right or human wrong. You are unseeing human good and human evil to behold the source. Then the mask loosens. Fear thins. Often, without speech, countenances brighten. Tightness in a room lets go. Provision finds its honest channel. By your life experience, by the fruitage, you will know whether you have recognized AS or merely admired it. I remember once walking past a weary clerk whose face wore the arithmetic of long hours. I did not speak. Within, I turned to the invisible and rested, God appearing as, this is my beloved Son. In 2 minutes I was at the door. A voice behind me called, thank you. We had said nothing. Yet the witness and the witnessed were of one life, and life announced itself. Practice this until it is the way you see, not under pressure only, but as your ordinary gaze. The more consistently you recognize AS, the more you find the Christ wherever you look at breakfast, in traffic, in headlines, in your own mirror. The single eye fills the body with light. Do you follow that? The witness and the witnessed are not two. One life looks out. One life is beheld. In that oneness, sight opens of itself. Now let the second word take its rightful place in your consciousness. Is, not will be, not if I do well enough, not when the condition improves. Is. Spiritual work does not create truth. It consents to what already is. You are not trying to make 2 times 2 be 4. You are realizing it is 4. The arithmetic does not adjust to your mood. Your recognition adjusts to the fact. Do you see? Be still and know that I am God. The knowing meets the already. Let this become your inner cadence, not as a charm, but as accuracy of being. Harmony is, life is, love is, abundance is, omnipresence is, I am. As these words move quietly within, you are not trying to persuade a reluctant universe. You are aligning with the way reality already is constituted. I am the resurrection, and the life is not a future promise. It is the eternal statement of life about itself. Resurrection, then, is the unveiling of I-ness where sense testimony had argued otherwise. Practice it where the day touches you. When you wake, before you take hold of plans, rest one breath in I-as. When you read a bill, hear a diagnosis, face a strained face at your table, no bargaining, no timelines, no speeches, one in a turn. Omnipresence is. Life is the life of this one. Law is present. Supply is presence, not thing. Then let the matter alone. Judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. Righteous judgment is recognition of I-S. You will find that anxiety wants to rise and make deals. If this eases, I will be grateful. If that changes, I will believe. Drop it. Gratitude is not a tip we leave on the table of God after service is rendered. Gratitude is the atmosphere of I-S. Son, thou art ever with me, and all that I have is thine. ever with me. All that I have is when you dwell briefly, frequently, sincerely in that climate, the soil of thought loosens, the hard clods of either or, sickness or health, lack or plenty, begin to crumble without your picking at them. As you abide in is, notice what happens to sense testimony. The body may still speak. The ledger may still list numbers. The headline may still trumpet unrest. But a subtler, truer report arrives first, presence. In that awareness, you will see that what we call healing is the natural outcome of correct recognition. We walk by faith, not by sight, not credulity, but inner sight preceding outer sign. The event shifts because the witness has ceased demanding a change and has rested in the changeless. Make this simple and regular. Before the call, during the meeting, crossing the street, washing the dish, one silent consent. I am, life is, love is, harmony is, omnipresence is, not pressed, not hurried. Then go on about your duty. If fruitage follows peace where agitation had a claim, right activity where confusion had a voice, take no credit and make no noise, truth has borne witness to itself. Lo, I am with you always. The I-S that walks with you is the I-S that appears as you. Do you follow that? In this resting, beholding becomes natural, and resurrection ceases to be a story. It becomes the way the day unveils what already is. Let Scripture become a map, not of places, but of states of receptivity. On the mountain, light broke, not as spectacle for a crowd, but as disclosure to three. Jesus taketh Peter, James, and John, and was transfigured before them, and a voice out of the cloud said, This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased, hear ye him. Why three? Not favoritism, readiness. Those consciousnesses could bear the radiance without converting it to superstition or gossip. The valley was not forsaken. It was simply not prepared for mountain light. Do you see? The event Christ was constant. Capacity drew attendance. In the garden, another lesson. Mary stood weeping. Looking, she saw a gardener. Hearing, she knew her Lord. Jesus saith unto her, Mary. She turned herself and saith unto him, Rabboni. The name called within opened the eye without. Flesh and blood, the human report, had not revealed it. Love addressed identity, A.S. identity, and recognition flowered. Touch me not, he said, not because love withholds, but because the impulse to grasp the old personal sense must be refused. This is not the return of a body. This is the unveiling of life. A as not and, I as not will be. Then the room with shut doors, fear thick in the air. And yet Jesus came and stood in the midst and saith unto them, Peace be unto you. Doors of oak yield to no man. Doors of fear yield to presence. Omnipresence is. Peace is. The Christ did not enter. The Christ was realized. In that realization, the seeming barrier proved to be the arm of flesh nothingness. The same Christ was present in every house in Jerusalem, but where readiness overcame panic, peace appeared as the very center of that company. Thomas teaches us with plainness, Except I shall see in his hands the print of the nails, I will not believe. 8 days later, the Master offers his terms, then adds the law, Blessed are they that have not seen, and yet have believed, not credulity, readiness. The blessing points to inner sight that precedes tactile proof. When AS is recognized and IS is consented to, the craving for sensation quiets and the witness becomes natural. Do you follow that? On the road to Emmaus, two walked in discouragement. The Christ drew near, but their eyes were holden that they should not know him. He opened to them the Scriptures, their hearts burned. Still, no recognition until an ordinary act became sacrament. He was known to them in breaking of bread, not a new presence, new readiness. Routine transfigured by inner heat became window instead of wall. Practice transfigures the commonplace just so, and the day becomes transparent to the invisible. And then the multitude of witnesses after that, he was seen of above 500 brethren at once. Think of it. Not a citywide parade, not an imperial proclamation, a field, perhaps a hillside, and a company tuned by devotion, by shared expectancy, by the fruit of days spent together in the cadence of prayer. He was not more present to those 500 than to the market that same hour. Their readiness lifted the veil that isn't. The sun did not move, the clouds thinned. Peter stands as our exemplar. When he said, "Thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God," the answer was immediate. "Flesh and blood hath not revealed it unto thee, but my Father which is in heaven." There is the pivot. Revelation is inward. Crowd, rumor, report, none confer sight. The Father within utters, "This is my beloved Son," and the eye beholds what the ear has heard in silence. Bring it home. A room may be filled, only some will sense the hush that heals. A talk may be given, only a few will hear more than syllables. The presence is not selective. Readiness is selective. Scripture is not a history of divine partiality. It is a record of the law of witness. Recognize A as God appearing as individual being. Rest in A as the ever-present fact. Then, by your life experience, by the fruitage, you will find yourself moving from the valley to the mountain, from rumor to revelation, from closed doors to peace in the midst. Naturally, verifiably, quietly, we must be plain now. The obstruction to sight is not a force. It is not a person, not a law, not a substance. It is hypnotism, a universal suggestion of two powers, life and death, wrestling, good and evil, competing for the stage. Scripture states the antidote with finality. I am God and there is none else. When none else is taken literally in consciousness, the veil thins. When the mind toys with exceptions, the cloud returns. This mesmeric mist is what the Hebrews named the arm of flesh, an appearance of might without essence. Do you see? Think of it as the snake in the rope seen at dusk. Fear leaps, pulse rises, yet when light comes, there was never a snake to conquer. Or the non-existent white poodle your friend swears ran across the road, you both break, you both gasp, and then there is nothing there to pick up. Or the streetcar tracks that seem to meet at the horizon but never do. So error operates as seeming, not being. Its only method is to fasten your attention to the picture through fear, through guilt, through literalism that imprisons words, through the personalization of evil as this patient, that leader, this body, that bank account. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, said Paul. When you make it flesh and blood, you consent to wrestle a mirage. Here is the healing move, and keep it simple. Depersonalize. Give not a thought to the person or the condition. Drop it. Name it mesmerism, suggestion, the arm of flesh, nothingness. Then turn to AS and IS. God appearing as individual being, this is my beloved Son. Omnipresence is. Law is. Life is. Do not fight appearances. Resist not evil. Resistance dignifies the picture. Recognition dissolves it. When the Master said, "Get thee behind me, Satan," he was not rebuking a man, he was refusing suggestion. When you unhook the suggestion from a face or a form, its authority evaporates. Do you follow that? An illustration. A call comes, urgency in the voice, a child burning with fever. My words are few, I will help you. I do not take the fever into my thought. I do not take the child into my thought. Within, I turn and rest. This is my beloved Son. God is manifest as individual being. Omnipresence is. Life is the only life here. The fear rises like a wave. I let it roll past, merely mesmerism reporting itself. The wave spends itself because there is no ocean to feed it. Quiet arrives. Later the report, it broke. We do not make noise about it. By your life experience, by the fruitage, you learn what suggestion cannot abide the light of impersonal truth. Practice it in small and large, a headline that stings, an ache that argues, a memory that accuses. Do not argue back. Do not dress it in names. Mesmerism, arm of flesh, snake in the rope. Then one consent, A as and I as. Perfect love casteth out fear. Not love for or against a person, but the love that knows no else. When the nothingness is seen as nothing, its hold is broken and sight clears. The veil that isn't does what it must do in the face of light. It isn't. Do you see? Removing personhood from error removes its authority, and the witness stands free to behold what has always and only been Christ, here, now. Let us draw a simple map. Not to sort saints from beginners, not to make classes of people, but to recognize where attention stands and how it rises. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Purity grows by stages. Seeing widens as purity deepens. Do you see? What you behold changes as the instrument of beholding is tuned. The event remains the same. Christ here, yet perception climbs from sense to spirit in ordered steps. First, sense testimony. At this level, life is explained by material cause and effect. The report of eyes and ears is final. The body dictates truth. Headlines decree reality. Bank columns bless or curse. Here, fear and hope swing like a pendulum because two powers are presumed to be wrestling. The arm of flesh looks strong. We walk by faith, not by sight. Sounds naive at this level because sight means optics and faith means fantasy. Healing, if it occurs, is an accident. Peace is a brief truce negotiated by conditions. In this field, one is always late because one is waiting for appearances to change before resting. Do you follow that? Second, the letter of truth. Something in you turns. Words begin to take their rightful place as pointers. You study, you affirm, you prime the pump. Be still and know that I am God becomes a practice, though still word heavy. You say, God is my life. God is my supply. God is the law of my being. At times, there is relief glimpses, small fruitage, but the tendency to use words as tactics persists, and under pressure, platitudes try to escape your lips toward suffering. Beware. This level is necessary, but if you camp here, you will irritate the hurting and weary yourself. Keep going. Let the letter soften the soil. Do not confuse it with harvest. Third, impersonalization. Now, the two-power belief loosens its grip. You stop blaming people or pampering conditions. Error is seen as mesmerism, suggestion, a nothingness without person, law, or substance. Compassion grows because you are no longer against anyone. You are simply declining to empower a picture. Resist not evil. You begin to drop it. The snake in the rope is recognized as rope. Fear declines because there is less to defend. Here you can say within, this is my beloved son, and mene as God appearing as individual being without arguing with the surface. The room lightens even when the form has not yet changed. Do you see? Fourth, receptive listening. Your major activity becomes receptivity. Words fall into the background. Spirit takes the field. My sheep hear my voice. The inner ear awakens. Truth is imparted, not manufactured. You find that I will help you is sufficient on the outer, because the declaration comes within, peace be unto you, this is my beloved Son. You are no longer trying to make 2 times 2 equal 4. You are knowing it is 4, and the knowing is God's knowing, revealing itself as your awareness. Not by might, nor by power, but by my Spirit, saith the Lord. Guidance becomes quiet, precise, timely. 5th, witnessing presence. Here, ayes and ayes are not practices, but atmosphere. You walk into rooms, and the hush arrives before you speak. Fruitage is steady problems resolved with little narrative. Relationships ease. Provision finds clean channels. Few words, much presence. Lo, I am with you always ceases to be comfort for the frightened and becomes the constitution of every moment. Doors may be shut, yet peace stands in the midst. You do not claim attainment, you recognize constancy. Do you follow that? The witness and the witnessed are one, life acknowledging itself. These are not rungs to boast about or badges to wear. They are states of receptivity. A beginner may, in a single crisis, leap from level 1 to 3 by grace. An old practitioner may, in fatigue, find himself back at level 2. Be honest and continue. By your life experience, by the fruitage, you will know where you are spending most of your hours. And about those 500, think of them as a threshold company living much of the time between levels 3 and 5. Not elites, not favorites, but a field tuned by impersonal love, listening hearts, and steady consent to IS. In such a company, the sun needs no announcement. The clouds yield. This is our direction, individually and together, from sense to spirit, from letter to life, from 2 powers to 1 presence recognized. Take the next faithful step where you are. Decline the picture its person. Listen more than you speak. Rest in is. Behold AS. The law is exact. Perception rises. And with it, witnessing becomes natural, verifiable, and quiet. Do you see? Training the listening ear begins with priming the pump. Small turns, frequent turns, truthful turns. On waking before you take the day into your hands, be still 1 breath and consent. Omnipresence is, life is, love is. I am in God, and God is appearing as me. No asking, no bargaining, accuracy. Before meals, not grace begged from afar, but recognition. The earth is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof. Supply is presence, not thing. At work, before the call, before the decision, 1 in a glance. Law is, intelligence is. My peace I give unto you. With money numbers on a page are not a power, they are a report. Source is, Son, thou art ever with me, and all that I have is thine. These are not speeches, they are acknowledgments, do you see? Keep words few. In crisis, I will help you is sufficient. Do not argue truth to a frightened mind. Stand by in consciousness. Let the room feel your consent to IS. When the need comes to the door, do not open a lecture. Open the inner window. This is my beloved Son. God is manifest as individual being. Then silence. The less you strain the tongue, the more the ear awakens. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. Set a time to listen. Sit, grow still, and let the inner doer speak. Be still and know that I am God, not thinking about God, not rehearsing lines, not manufacturing feeling. Rest in availability, offer no outline. My sheep hear my voice. If a word rises, receive it. If none comes, you have not failed, you have obeyed. This obedience becomes climate. Over time, you will know the shift. I live, yet not I, but Christ liveth in me. The movement within announces itself by hush, by clarity, by a gentle authority that does not debate what of drift. The mind will wander. Do not make it a foe. Call it what it is, mesmerism, the arm of flesh, nothingness. Drop it. One soft return. Here I am, Father. Then silence again. 10,000 returns, if need be. Each return is fidelity. Resist not evil. Do not wrestle the thought. Name its nothingness and come home. Make the practice daily. Consistency over intensity. Short, faithful turns woven through the day. Do more than occasional fervor. This is not a lazy man's work, but it is simple. Look for the measure, not fireworks, but fruitage. Increasing peace without outer reason. Decisions arriving without inner noise. In a crisis, your first impulse is quiet and your words are few. Presence precedes you into rooms. Peace, be still, becomes effect, not effort. Do you follow that? Discipline moves you from saying truth to hearing truth until receptivity becomes your major activity and witnessing becomes natural, verifiable, and quiet. The kingdom of God is within you. Now comes the question that keeps us honest. How shall we know that this is realization and not rhetoric? The Master left us no ambiguity. Ye shall know them by their fruits. By your life experience, by the fruitage, not by feelings, not by eloquence, not by the warmth of a meeting or the sparkle of a phrase. Do you see, if the presence is realized, it must appear as effect. Faith without works is dead. The inner hush is precious, but it must become bread for the day. What does fruitage look like? Problems that used to linger begin to resolve more quickly, not always dramatically, but steadily, like ice thawing in the sun. Relationships ease. Harsh edges round off. Old accusations lose their voice. Supply steadies. It comes as opportunity cleanly met, as enough at the right time, as waste falling away. Health is restored, sometimes at once, often as a quiet rightness that returns and stays. The mind is less quick to panic, the tongue less eager to preach. The fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith. Notice the order. Love appears as kindness, peace as patience, joy as a light way of walking through the same streets. Doors do not become magical. They cease being obstacles because peace stands in the midst. If harmony does not appear, be grateful for the diagnosis. You may be in an emotional jag, truth words, arousing sentiment without changing state. Do not condemn yourself. Correct the method. Return at once to impersonalization and listening. Drop the person, drop the condition, mesmerism only, the arm of flesh, nothingness. Resist not evil. Then turn to AS and IS. This is my beloved Son, God appearing as individual being. Omnipresence is. Say little, listen more. When suggestion argues, do as the Master. Get thee behind me. Refuse the picture its voice, and wait for the inner word. Do you follow that? Results verify realization, not the other way around. Help yourself with a quiet journal. Not for boasting, not for testimony meetings, but for clarity. Record the call for help, the inner leading you received, the outcome dates, simple notes. At month's end, read without drama. You will see patterns, how fear has shortened its visits, how guidance comes sooner, how supply meets need without theater. If you find gaps, that too is mercy. You know where to lower the bucket again. See thou tell no man, the Master said to the cleansed. Let your record be obedience to that humility, while letting your light so shine as effect, not announcement. And here is a stern kindness, the compassion test. In the presence of suffering, you will hear yourself using fewer platitudes and offering more presence. You will not antagonize the wounded with shiny sayings. You will stand near, and if words are needed, I will help you, will be enough. Comfort ye, my people. Weep with them that weep. Then in silence do the work. Impersonalize, consent to IS, behold AS. When peace steals into the room, when breath evens, when a way opens, say nothing of yourself. By your life experience, by the fruitage, you will know that realization has taken root, and others will know it too, not by your speech, but by their healing. You see? Let us bring this home to the places where the day lays its hand upon you. Not theory now touch. Presence, not tactics, turns conditions. So we carry AS and IS into health, into supply, into the seeing of one another. Short turns, accurate turns, fruitful turns. Do you see? When a diagnosis arrives, take it as you take the weather report, information about appearances, not decree about being. Do not fight it. Fighting dignifies the picture. I am the Lord that healeth thee. Let those words be atmosphere, not argument. Call the diagnosis what it is in our language, the arm of flesh, mesmerism's report. Then one quiet consent. Life is. Omnipresence is. This is my beloved Son, God appearing as individual being. Sit 30 seconds, no more is needed until fear unwinds in presence. Be still and know that I am God. If fear argues again, repeat the stillness, not the debate. Your body will learn your new law of attention. The cells obey the peace you realize, not the panic you voice. You are not trying to make anything happen. You are beholding what is. In Him we live and move and have our being. In that recognition, symptoms often soften, decisions clarify. Help meets you without theater. By your life experience, by the fruitage, you will know. Supply follows the same law. Numbers are not a power, they are a report. Before you open the bill or the ledger, pause 30 seconds in gratitude without object. The earth is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof. Source is, abundance is. All that the Father hath is mine. Allow thanks to rise without story. Then plan, if planning is yours to do, but from IS, not from lack. Consider the lilies. Your heavenly Father knoweth that ye have need of all these things. In this cadence, waste falls away. Right opportunity appears without strain, and you will find that enough arrives cleanly, often just in time, sometimes more than enough, and always with less inner noise. Practice a silent consent before every payment, every pricing, every negotiation. Omnipresence is supply, appearing as right exchange. Then speak honestly and simply. Watch the fruitage, tension shortens, generosity lengthens, fear of tomorrow loosens, because presence is your climate today. Relationships are the holy test of sight, unsee both human good and human evil. The charming personality and the difficult temper equally distract from identity. Look back of the eye. Behold the Christ of God, where a person seems to stand. Judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. Before a difficult conversation, give yourself 30 seconds. Father, glorify thyself as us. This is my beloved Son. As God appearing as individual being levels the ground under both your feet, then add I as peace is in the midst. You will notice the tongue slows, the ears open, and a soft answer turneth away wrath. Do not try to win. Let love be recognized. If praise comes, do not cling. If blame comes, do not defend. Return to AS and IS and speak few words. Presence will do more for the relationship than 1,000 tactics. In crisis, keep the etiquette of spirit. If the call comes, Your outer words are these: I will help you. Then turn within at once. Give not a thought to the person or the condition. Drop it. Mesmerism only. The arm of flesh. Then consent. This is my beloved Son. Omnipresence is, peace be unto you. Do you follow that? Stand by in consciousness until the inner hush says, it is finished for now. If an outer act is required, it will present itself naturally, no heroics, only rightness. Weave micro-practices through the day like breaths. Before you send the email, omnipresence is intelligence. Before you sign the contract, law is. Before you enter the meeting, this is my beloved Son, Christ in the midst. Before you eat, thou preparest a table before me, 30 seconds, often less, many times. Let these turns be more frequent than fervent. They are not charms, they are acknowledgments. And watch, not with anxiety, but with gratitude's quiet curiosity. Note where tension shortens, how a worry that once lasted hours now fades in minutes. Note where kindness lengthens, how patience grows roots, how courtesy returns even under pressure. Ye shall know them by their fruits. When you see the sharp word withheld, the bill met without inward storm, the pain losing its voice in the presence of a greater voice, you are beholding the law at work. AS and IS brought to ordinary moments, not by might nor by power, but by my Spirit. Lo, I am with you always. The resurrection is not an ancient spectacle. It is the day unveiling what already is when readiness consents. Do you see? When hearts consent together, recognition is amplified, not because God comes closer, but because distraction thins and expectancy harmonizes. Where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them. The in the midst is constant, gathering tunes, the receivers. Do you see? A communal field lifts many, but each receives to the measure of inner readiness. The sun is one, the windows vary. In a classroom, I have watched one presence fill a room like fragrance. Some tremble, some grow still, a few feel nothing and doze. Same hour, same silence, same Christ. Readiness determines beholding. Resist the temptation to measure your neighbor. You do not know the quiet work under their ribs. If one weeps and another yawns, do not prefer the tear to the yawn. Flesh and blood hath not revealed it, the Father within does. We meet then not to grade, but to abide. We must avoid spectacle. Chasing phenomena breeds pride or fear and leaves you poorer. If a sign appears, let it pass into gratitude and silence. See, thou tell no man, not because there is shame, but because display spends power. Fruitage and humility govern our interest. If the gathering is of God, harmony will follow, the hushed decisions, clear irritations, ease, provision turns without theater. By your life experience, by the fruitage, you will know whether the meeting was spirit or sentiment. Do you follow that? How shall we meet? Simply, 2 or 3 are sufficient. 5 are abundant. Begin with IS 30 seconds of shared acknowledgement. Omnipresence is, peace is, law is. No pleading, no outlining. Then a brief recognition of AS. This is my beloved Son, God appearing as individual being, here as us. Let one voice say it softly, or each say it inwardly. Then listen. 10 minutes of quiet receptivity, no agenda, no commentary. If a need is on someone's heart, let the outer words be few. I will help you. Within, the group impersonalizes mesmerism, only the arm of flesh, nothingness, and returns to AS and IS, close without discussion, perhaps with a verse. Peace be unto you. End in silence, as with a benediction that does not ask but knows. Over weeks, such circles become lamps. Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. Neighbors will not hear a sermon, they will feel a climate. Old quarrels lose their voice in the street. Small businesses find honest flow. A lonely one discovers companionship without recruitment. Let your light so shine, not your noise. Each will receive according to readiness, yet the field helps the ready to ripen and the weary to rest. You see? Gathered seeing is not a program, it is a shared consent to one. When groups practice like this, speaking little, listening much, the resurrection ceases to be an event to report and becomes a presence to witness together, naturally and verifiably. Let us walk this for 30 days, not to manufacture a miracle, but to consent to be what we behold. You do not achieve sight by strain. You become the sight you are willing to be. Beloved, now are we the sons of God. Readiness is identity accepted. Witnessing follows readiness as sunrise follows night. Do you see? Morning, begin with IS. 30 seconds, 1 minute if grace lingers. Omnipresence is, life is, love is. I am in God, and God is appearing as me. No petition, no outline, accuracy. Be still and know that I am God. If the mind starts building a day out of worry, name it mesmerism, the arm of flesh, and drop it. Return to IS, then quietly add AS. This is my beloved Son, God appearing as individual being. That is identity. Walk out of bed as that, not as a fixer of condition. Midday, listening. 5 to 10 minutes. Sit, spine easy, tongue quiet. No rehearsing of truth. Let truth announce itself. My sheep hear my voice. Offer no plan. Say inwardly, here I am. If a word rises, receive it. If only hush arrives, you have obeyed. Make this the hinge of your day, so that activity pivots on receptivity. Over days, you will notice timing, refined calls placed at right moments, doors opening without push. Fruitage begins in small rightnesses. Evening, gratitude and impersonalization review. 2 columns in the heart, not on paper unless Spirit leads. First, gratitude without object. Thank you for being what you are. Let thanks be atmosphere, not inventory. Second, impersonalization. Where did I give a picture, a person, or a power? Name it mesmerism. Arm of flesh, drop it. Then once more, A-S and I-S. This is my beloved Son. Omnipresence is. Sleep inside that recognition. I will lay me down in peace and sleep. For thou, Lord, only makest me dwell in safety. When the call for help comes, keep the etiquette of spirit. Outwardly, say, I will help you. Inwardly, at once, drop the picture. Give not a thought to the person or the condition. Mesmerism only, the arm of flesh. Then realize AS and IS. This is my beloved Son, God manifest as individual being. Peace is, law is, listen. If an inner word directs an act, do it simply. If silence is your only instruction, stand by in consciousness, not by might nor by power, but by my Spirit. Do you follow that? Once a week, meet with 2 or 3. 10 to 15 minutes are abundant. Begin with IS, omnipresence is. Then IS, this is my beloved Son, here is us. Then silence, no advice, no testimonies. Presence only. If a need is brought, the outer word remains, I will help you. The inner practice remains impersonalize and consent. Close with peace be unto you, and keep the fruitage to God's credit, not yours. See thou tell no man, protects humility and power. What shall you expect? Small turns first, peace taking the edge from the morning, timing becoming kind, provision arriving cleanly, the sharp word withheld. Then, as readiness ripens, deeper unveilings. Illnesses easing without theater, estrangements thawing, guidance precise and gentle, a house becoming climate for others. Ye shall know them by their fruits, by your life experience, by the fruitage, you will know whether you are consenting to be what you behold. This is steady devotion, not strain. 30 days is not a finish line. It is a faithful beginning. If you stumble on day 9, begin again on day 10. If day 15 seems dry, call it mesmerism and listen anyway. Each return is fidelity. They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. I will help you. We will stand by in consciousness for one another. Let us go in quietness. Let us go in accuracy. Let us go as who we are, God appearing as individual being, resting in what already is. And in that rest we will find ourselves, without fanfare, walking among the witnesses of the invisible. Do you see? Lo, I am with you always. Thank you.